In this problem, we're going to be calculating in base 8, and we have a Bedmass style problem here where some order of operation needs to be considered. So 1, 2, 3 plus 2, 3 multiplied by 5, 6, the multiplication needs to be done first. And then we have a subtraction, and then later on there's a division. So we need to do the multiplication and the division first, and then afterwards we can add and subtract the three terms that are there to get our final answer. So we'll start with the multiplication. So 5, 6 multiplied by 2, 3. And we're multiplying in base 8. So first we'll start with 3 multiplied by 6. That gives us 18. And to represent 18, we can write 2 times 8 to represent 16, and then 2 more to get us to 18. In the next column, we have multiplied by 5. So 5 times 3 is 15, plus 2 more is 17. So in base 8, that would be 16 plus 1. And now we can move on to multiplying by 2. Shift things over with putting a 0. So 2 times 6 is 12. In base 8, we can write that as 8 plus 4. 2 times 5 is 10, plus 1 is 11. In base 8, we can write 11 as 8 plus 3. So if we add this all together, we have our answer for the multiplication. Okay, so next we'll move on to the division because we have to do that before the addition and the subtraction. So we're going to take 1, 3 and divide it into 5, 4, 0 as many times as possible. So this might take a little bit of guesswork to try to figure out how to divide this properly to start out with. The 1, 3 could go into the 5, 4 a certain number of times, and that's where the sort of guessing comes in. We kind of have to think about how many times is it going to go in. You might say that 1, 3 is kind of close to 1, 0, and 5, 4 is kind of close to 5, 0. So you might say, well, it might go in 5 times, but it's also multiplying 1, 3 as opposed to 1, 0 over and over. So I'm going to guess 1, 3 multiplied by 4 and see what happens. It might go in 4 times, it might go in 5 times. I'm not really sure at this point, but we'll do the multiplication and see what happens. So 4 times 3 is 12. In base 8, we write that as 1, 4. And then 4 times 1 is 4, plus 1 left over is 5. So it turned out that we got exactly 54. So 1, 3 goes into 5, 4 4 times, and when you multiply through, you get exactly 5, 4, and there's no remainder left over. So our answer to the division is 4, 0. And now we're ready to add and subtract all of this together to get our final answer. So we have 1, 5, 5, 2, and we're going to add that to 1, 2, 3, and we want to take away the 4, 0 that we came up with the division. So 2 plus 3 minus 0 is 5. 5 plus 2 is 7, minus 4 is 3. Adding 1 and 5, we get 6, and our final answer comes out as 1635.